entertaining games, some disappointing games, some blowouts. It was a good Sunday. It was a good Sunday. But we're going to cover 3 games. That's it. It's 3 games. All right. The first game we're going to cover the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Cleveland Browns. Now, look, before the season, I picked the Browns to make the playoffs and not the Steelers. So the Steelers must have heard that. And, these teams have that bad blood, especially from the last playoff game they had. It was very, it was a crazy start with all those turnovers by the Steelers, and they still crawled back, made it a little bit competitive, but the Browns ran away with that game. And they trolled Juju in the locker room. So the Steelers remember all that stuff. So the Steelers did a great job on Nick Chubb. They did a great job on the Browns rushing attack. All right. They held Nick Chubb to 3.8 yards per carry. But we got to remember, Nick Chubb is coming off an injury. I think that the Browns should have used Dearness Johnson more. I mean, he only ran the ball 4 times. We saw the game he had last week, right? So he should have ran the ball more. So the Steelers had great defense, you know what I mean? So they basically virtually shut down the Browns. The Browns only got past the Pittsburgh Steelers 40-yard line 4 times. That's it. 4 times. So one was a touchdown, one was a field goal, one was a fumble, and one was turnover 1 downs. All right. So the defense made a play. They made a play in the 4th quarter, 6 minutes left in the game. Landry catch the ball, fumble, TJ Watt recovers it. And as a key, coming to this game, it wasn't really about Baker versus Big Ben. It was more about Myles Garrett versus TJ Watt, And TJ Watt, he recovered that fumble, made that play, and he had a sack and a half. Myles Garrett also had a sack. So now the Browns, they fumbled the ball with 6 minutes left. They stopped Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh punched the ball. The Browns get the ball back. They end up having 1st and 10 on Pittsburgh's 24th-yard line. This is a 4th time in red zone territory, the whole game. Well, not 4th time, 3rd time. And probably the 2nd time. It's 2nd time in the red zone all game. All right. So Baker's 1st down. Baker throws the ball, incomplete. Don't know why he's throwing the ball. Nick Chubb runs, -1 yard. They're being very predictable. 3rd down, they get a false start call. Boom. 3rd down, he throws a Cooper. Cooper gets 4 yards. Now you have 4th and 12. All right, 4th and 12, and then he throw across the middle to Landry. Landry was double covered, couldn't get the ball. Now, I will say this, free Odell. Can we get Odell a different destination? I mean, Landry had 10 targets. Odell only had 1. I still think Odell is a talented wide receiver. I just think he needs to be in a better situation. All right, so free Odell. So after that, game over. Pittsburgh Steelers, great job, great defense. Showing up, shutting down the Browns' rushing attack. So great job. The Pittsburgh won that game 15-10. All right. So then we got the Patriots versus the Chargers. Look, y'all, I'm not a huge Herbert fan. And listen, I previously said I'll take Derek Carr right now over Herbert. Herbert will be better. Like 3 years from now, maybe next year, 3 years from now, Herbert will be better because Herbert is still growing. And Derek Carr is kind of like who you have. Derek Carr is who he is. Herbert is still rising up because it's only his 2nd year. But as of today, I'll take Derek Carr. Herbert was outplayed by Mac Jones on Sunday. He was outplayed, all right? Herbert had a QBR of 16. Now, he did have 2 interceptions that hurt that QBR, and both of those interceptions, I'm not going to blame him for that. One of them was a tip pass, should have been caught, interception. The second one, through to Jared Cook, miscommunication. Kind of Murray and AJ Green situation, right? Only difference was it wasn't for the game, but it was a pick 6, and that kind of was the game after that, right? So I'm not gonna blame them for that, but they were terrible on 3rd down. They were only 4-12 from 3rd down. Herbert only had 1 good drive the whole game. The whole game, he had 1 good drive until the first drive of the game was a good drive, and the last drive of the game was a good drive because they were in desperation mode. Patriots were playing, they weren't playing up. They were more playing the whole back a touchdown. So they were allowing a lot of things up front. So, but between those two drives, he didn't have a good drive. Now, people gonna say, well, they got the ball all the way down and scored a touchdown. That was because Jackson had like a 75-yard run. It had nothing to do with Herbert driving downfield. And then another drive they did okay in. Eckler had a 28-yard run. So Herbert did not lead them on a great drive the whole game, besides the first drive and the last drive of the game. So everybody's high on the Chargers. Everybody was high on the Chargers because they were so fascinated. Man, I saw we did it Patrick Mahomes, even though the Chiefs had 4 turnovers, the Chargers had 0, and they barely won that game by 6 points. Oh, look, you see what we did to the Chiefs? Oh, that's all we did to the Browns. So the Browns game, they got excited. But do we see how they look when they lose? Herbert looks average. So I'm not too sold on Justin Herbert. I still think the Chiefs will win this series. This division. If I was a betting man, I'll put a lot of money on that right now. So remember, I'm saying that the Chiefs are still going to win this division. I said that last week when they lost to the Bills, when they lost to the Titans. I said that after they lost, I said I still believe they will beat out the Chargers and Raiders. I don't think the Raiders. First of all, the Raiders are not making the playoffs. The Chargers are making the playoffs, possibly, right? But the Chiefs definitely are going to win this division. All right, so let's go to the last game. Last game, we'll talk about the Cowboys and Vikings. All right, so let's talk about the Vikings first. The Vikings, right? They always play to the level of their competition. I don't get it. And whenever they play a good team, they can't finish the game. They've only beaten bad teams this year. They haven't beaten a good quality team yet. And they play basically almost the best teams. Sunday coming into the week, week 8, coming into week 8, the Cardinals were the number 1 team in the NFC, and the Bengals were the number 1 team in the AFC. Did y'all know that the Vikings played both of those teams? They played the Bengals, lost in overtime. They played the Cardinals, lost by 1 off a missed field goal by the Vikings while the time expired. So they had opportunities to beat the number 1 NFC team, number 1 AFC team, turns around, plays the worst team in the NFL, Detroit Lions, win by 2 points off a game-winning field goal. I mean, they played to level their competition. Now, when they're playing a good team, good teams know how to finish games. So the Vikings don't finish these games. Bad teams do not know how to finish games. So when Vikings play these bad teams, they know how to finish a game. So that's the Vikings' issue. They don't know how to complete a good game. So the Vikings, right? Now, even though I picked the Vikings to win this game, when they lost, I wasn't surprised because, like I said previously, the Cowboys put a lot of pressure on Kirk Cousins. And when you I forgot who said it. I think it was the Vikings coach or Dalvin Cook. One of them said, Kirk Cousins is one of the best QBs in the league when he's protected. What about when he's not protected? That's when your ability is supposed to kick in. All right. When he's not protected and there's a lot of pressure in Kirk Cousins' face, he looks very timid. He looks very very timid in the pocket. All right. He was dinking and dunking the whole game. He wasn't going downfield at all. I'm thinking like, Kirk Cousins, what are you doing? Take advantage of the secondary. But he was not doing the ball downfield at all. He was dinking and dunking the whole game. Cowboys played a great game. The Cowboys made them pay for it. Because here's the thing. The Vikings came into this game saying, you're not going to beat us with Zeke and Pollard. We're going to focus on shutting down the run. The Cowboys made them play. Cooper Rush had a great game. He did throw an interception, a bad one, but he had some good plays too. He outplayed Kirk Cousins this game. That's why I'm not so high on Dak. I do think Dak is a good quarterback. I'm don't get me wrong. I'm glad the Cowboys did the right thing by signing Dak. But when people put him on his high pedestal like he's one of the greatest quarterbacks, you gotta look at his team. He has one of the best. He probably has the best offensive roster in the NFL. One of the best running games in the league and passing games. Look what Cooper Rush did when he came in the game. You know, so that's why I'm like, if Dak is dominated, he should be doing it. That's why when people overhype Tom Brady is a great quarterback. But you trying to tell me he's better today than he was 5 years ago? No. He has the best weapons he ever had in his NFL career. He's like based off the offensive roster they have, right? Matter of fact, this offensive roster the Buccaneers have is better than the roster when he had Randy Moss, in my opinion. But he's not better. He was better back then. So Dak should be getting these numbers because look at the weaponry he has. He does have a great offense. I will get a Cowboys. The Cowboys had a great game. You know, they weren't playing timid with Cooper Rush. They let him throw the ball a lot. You know, because they took advantage of the opportunities. The Vikings came in the game, put everybody in the box, making sure they're down. But it's funny because they prepared for the run, but they were not getting no pressure on Cooper Rush. Whenever you have a backup quarterback who never really played in the NFL, you had to bring pressure to them, make them uncomfortable the whole game, and they're gonna turn the ball over. But the Vikings were not doing that. They did. I know. I did tweet it. They weren't getting no pressure on them, and then boom, right when I tweeted it, they had I think a safety or a corner blitz, got the sack, fumble. That's what they supposed to be putting pressure on Cooper Rush, but they weren't. So the Cowboys took advantage of the Vikings' flaws, and you know they threw the ball a lot, got the ball in the end zone more than the Vikings, and the defense stepped up and played good against Kirk Cousins by putting pressure on. That's all you gotta do. You play the Vikings, put some pressure on Kirk Cousins, and he's gonna fold like a cheap tent. All right, so those are my takes for those 3 games. Great job to those 3 teams, and I'll see you guys at the next episode. All right, thank you guys for staying to the end of the video. Now, before you leave, this is what I want you guys to do. I want you to like this video if you haven't done it yet. I want you to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't done it yet. Share this video with someone you know that will be interested in listening to what we talked about today. And last but not least, hit the notification bell so you can make sure every time we upload a video, you'll be notified on YouTube. So enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next episode.